There are two ways for you to have anything you want in life. One being is that you commit to something for some time, you take a few actions here and there, and you put in the necessary work, and eventually, voila, you have it. You receive what you asked for. You receive what you've put all of the effort towards, what you worked, what you took action towards. And the second way is that you put in that same effort and you take the necessary actions, you do the necessary work, you force yourself through the nights, you take on the burden, you handle all of the responsibilities, and eventually it backfires. And then a few days later, a few weeks later, a few months, years later, you go for a second attempt and you try something different, you try something else towards that same end goal, and you put in the necessary work and you take all of the actions and you force yourself through the nights all over again, and again it fails. It proves to be just another harsh lesson for you to learn, but it's not really the results. But then you tried this, you keep on this for a few cycles, you keep repeating this cycle for a few times, and eventually you receive what you asked for, you receive what you've worked towards, what you put in all of the actions towards, and you got what you wanted. The reason I'm saying this is because as you are today, this is the best life that you can have. As who you are today, this is the best you can create of life. And this is not meant to be the typical inspired action versus forced action, but the difference between those two times, where once it works right away, the second time you have to struggle so much. You could see it for yourself. You could, think about it yourself. Sometimes you take a few actions and things work out magically, even if it's a great thing. Even now, maybe you've already made it. You've already living a dream reality. And you do something, you take an action and it works. You get what you actually want. You have the things you want. But then you want to do something different. And you take all of those actions, you put in the necessary work, but it does not work, and you have to repeat it all over again, over and over again. The difference between those two examples, between those two methods, is that in one of them, the first one, you were actually ready for what you've been asking for. You were ready for the thing you're actually working towards, and so it almost manifested instantly when you put in the necessary steps towards it, when you took the required action, the required step towards that thing. While at the second method, the second example, which most of us opt for and decided somehow that it's the best way to have anything you want, is that you were not ready for what you were working towards. You were not ready. Even if you had some minor success with you've managed to get through that first initial stage, you would not see it all the way through. You're not ready to see it all the way through. You're very different as a person from what you're trying to have in life, from what you're trying to shift towards in life. And so it has to go through cycles, and you have to repeat it over and over again. You have to try once, and you have to try twice and thrice until it eventually works. And somehow we decided that this is the best way for us to create, our reality, to achieve the things we want in life, by forcing it, by being so very different from it, but then working so hard towards it until we align. Because eventually what happens is that after one trial, after second trial, it just proves to be another lesson, and then you're changed a little bit, and then you changed some more, and then some more, and then eventually you are in internal alignment. You match that frequency and you get what you've actually worked towards, what you've been asking for. But what I'm trying to say here is that all the work that's really required from you is on yourself. Anything, just try it with anything. Once you change something you feel different, and now something else feels inspiring to you. You're inspired to take that action. You're inspired to learn about this different thing. You're inspired to try a different method. Every time you change, every time you work on yourself, by removing blockages and by removing limitations. And by the way, it's possible. It's possible for you to work towards something, to take, a few actions, and it works instantly. It doesn't have to fail and work and fail and be a journey of struggle and suffering, but rather it's possible through so many techniques, through so many methods. There are already so many methods out there, like, you know, the Selva method and the brainwave method, and, you know, or the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza and many others. And you could try it for yourself. You know, if you're interested, I would make a whole video about this. But what I'm trying to say once again is that the work that's necessary for you to do is on yourself. Once you change anything, whatever you're trying to have, whatever you are closely aligned with, actually feels easier to make, actually feels easier to figure out. If it's always, you know, a problem, if it's always you're pushing yourself, and it's always that you have to struggle through, that you're bored with while doing this, that you feel so scared, that you feel that it's the wrong action, it means you're not ready for it, and that it's gonna prove to be just another lesson. It's gonna be another failed experience. It's gonna be another nudge, another trial, one of those trials, and it means that it won't work out. So this is your guideline. If it feels easy, if you feel relaxed going into that thing, it means it's gonna work out. You're ready for it. But when you're forced, when you feel forced, when you're trying and trying and trying, that means that you're not yet ready. And now it's just, you know, your ego in play. It's just an act of desperation. So the point is that you are at the perfect frequency at this very moment. For your life, you are at a perfect frequency with your life. Whatever your life is, that is your frequency. Because it's not about that, why is my life always bad? Why is my life always like this? Why is this always happening to me? Why am I always struggling? Why am I always falling back? Why do I always feel stuck? The reason is that you are in perfect alignment. Your external reality has to be perfectly harmonized with your internal reality. And so the only work you should focus on is on your internal world, is changing those concepts, is breaking down programming, is raising your self-worth, seeing yourself differently, looking at yourself differently, and being someone different. Change your mentality. Take out some things from your life and see your new inspirations. Test it out for yourself. You're gonna feel different. You're gonna now, many new things are gonna feel easy. Change yourself. You know, like this, I used this example in one of my previous videos about trying to stop trying, because trying is a sign of failure. As long as it's a trial, as long as it's pushing yourself and you're just trying means that you are escaping from something, that you are not accepting of your current reality and you're trying to change it. And the problem is with that is that you have to accept wherever you are. Wherever you are is who you are. If you don't accept wherever you are, then you don't accept yourself. If you don't love your external reality, then you don't love yourself, because it's just a mirror reflection of your internal world, of your self-worth, of your inner reality, as to how you are programming it, as to how you're seeing yourself, as to what you believe about yourself and about life. And so once you focused on that, once you changed your habits, changed your routine, now other things are gonna feel inspiring. Now you're gonna suddenly receive that inspired action, which are gonna take you steps, which is gonna take you further than any of the hundreds of actions you've been trying to forcefully trying to take. Because one inspired action way overwhelms 10 or 100 forced actions, because those are just about lessons. Those are just when it comes to external gain. But internal gain, you know, the other journey is gonna teach you a lot. It's gonna change you. But what I'm trying to say is that you could do all of those changes before trying, so that you don't get broken hearted and break your heart and feel the misery and become miserable and suffer and struggle and, you know, go through all of those emotional cycles. The best way is to work on yourself. Do those changes. If you find yourself obsessed with something, notice the traits you currently have. Notice the life pattern, the patterns, the lifestyle that is in contradiction with what you're trying to create. It's gonna be very obvious. You're gonna realize, oh, that's because this is against that, and I'm holding so dearly to this, which is against what I'm actually trying to create. Then that's why it's not working. So try removing it out and give it some time for you to internally adapt to this thing you removed from your external reality, and then ideas are gonna come. Because the thing is, you might have tried, but you give it, a few days, and then, oh, it's not the reason. Maybe it's not the reason because it doesn't work in a few days or in 1 week. Thing is, even if you remove it externally, but you're holding dearly onto it internally, you have to change internally for any external change. Your frequency, to put it simply, your alignment, your energetic alignment has to become something of a new nature, of a different nature, for your life to take a different form, for your external reality to adapt. You have to become someone else. You have to feel different. You have to be thinking differently. You have to perhaps give up your perfectionism, your need to be in control of every aspect, because those are blockages. If you're a perfectionist, you're going to be held back at many points, and then that's why all of the subsequent steps are going to fail, even if you pass the initial one. If you need to control, if you're obsessed with control and you have to control every little detail, you're going to be stuck at many points once again. And similarly, build on that. If you have spending problems, if you have toxic habits, those are blockages to many things. Each is a blockage to something, and it's all in your hand. By focusing on yourself, by being the perfect frequency with the life you want, not with your current life, because your life is the perfect frequency. You are in a perfect match of a frequency with your current external reality. If you want a different one, you change your internal frequency, and your external reality will have to adapt. It's the equation. Change one thing from the equation, the other side of the equation also has to change. And that's how life works, and that's how you can have anything you want in life. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another video by AfsConsciousFrequency. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much, and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.